Ever found yourself stuck in the middle of a complex Photoshop edit, wondering if there's a more efficient way to fill in missing details? In the vast universe of Photoshop editing, this is a question that's all too common. It's no secret that Photoshop is a powerful tool, but with great power comes great complexity. One of the main challenges faced by users is the task of filling in missing or removed details on an image. This process can be as tedious as solving a jigsaw puzzle with no reference image. You must meticulously fill in each pixel, ensuring that the colors, textures, and lighting match the surrounding areas. This not only consumes a significant amount of time but also leaves room for plenty of errors. It's like trying to hit a bullseye blindfolded. But what if there was a solution that could make this process easier and more efficient? Enter AI Generative Fill. AI Generative Fill is a game-changing feature in Photoshop that uses artificial intelligence to fill in missing details. Imagine having a virtual assistant that can intelligently fill gaps in your images, intuitively understanding the context of the scene and replicating elements with uncanny accuracy. That's what AI Generative Fill does. This technology is revolutionizing Photoshop editing as we know it, offering a myriad of benefits. For starters, it significantly cuts down editing time. No more manually piecing together missing elements pixel by pixel. And the accuracy? It's like having a professional artist at your disposal, only faster and more precise. But perhaps the most exciting benefit of AI Generative Fill is the enhancement of creativity. With the heavy lifting taken care of, you can focus on bringing your artistic vision to life, pushing boundaries, and exploring new realms of creativity. Now that you've got a basic understanding of what AI Generative Fill is, it's time to learn how to use it. First, open the image you want to edit in Photoshop. Remember, the magic of your creativity starts with the image you choose, so pick one that sparks your imagination. Now let's dive into the first step in our AI Generative Fill journey. To begin, we need to select the area that we want to fill. Make sure you've got the lasso tool selected in your toolbar. This tool is perfect for making freeform selections around the area you want to fill. It's kind of like drawing an imaginary boundary around a piece of land that you want to build on. And just like in real estate, location matters here too. So, with your lasso tool, draw around the area you want to fill. Try to be as precise as possible. Precision is key when making your selection, as the more accurate your selection, the better the AI Generative Fill will work. Think of it as giving clear instructions to a very diligent worker. The clearer your instructions, the better the outcome. Now that we've selected our area, let's move on to the next step. Navigate to the Edit menu at the top of your screen. From the drop-down list, select the Fill option. This will open a dialog box with several options for you to choose from. In this dialog box, you'll see a section labeled Contents. This is where the magic really happens. Here, you need to select Content Aware. This option allows Photoshop to analyze the surrounding pixels of your selection and generate a fill that matches it. It's like having a personal artist who studies your image and paints in the missing parts for you. Once you've selected Content Aware, you'll notice there are other settings you can adjust, like color adaptation, opacity, and mode. Feel free to experiment with these settings to see how they affect your fill. Remember, the best way to learn is by doing. Once you've made your selection, you're ready to apply the AI Generative Fill. Just click OK to let Photoshop do its magic. And voila, you're one step closer to becoming a Photoshop wizard. Now, head over to the Edit menu and select Fill. At this point, you've arrived at the hub of our operation, the Fill dialog box. This is where the magic happens. Let's take a deeper look. You'll notice a drop-down menu labeled Contents. Here you have several options, but we're going to focus on Content Aware, the star of our show. This is Photoshop's AI-powered tool that works to fill your selection intelligently, based on the surrounding pixels. Once you've selected Content Aware, you'll see another drop-down menu, Mode. This allows you to choose how the fill will blend with the original image. For a seamless blend, normal mode often works best. However, feel free to experiment with other modes to achieve different effects. Next up is Opacity. This deals with the transparency of the fill. If you want the fill to completely cover the original image, set the opacity to 100%. If you'd like to keep some of the original image visible, you can reduce the opacity accordingly. Then, we have the Color Adaptation checkbox. When checked, it allows Photoshop to adjust the color of the fill to match the surrounding areas. This is particularly useful in complex images where colors vary across the selected area. Once you're happy with your settings, click OK. Photoshop will then get to work applying the fill based on your specifications. But wait, don't click away just yet. Preview the results right there and then. If you're not satisfied, simply press Ctrl+Z or Command+Z on Mac to undo the action, and tweak your settings until you get your desired result. Remember, perfection often lies in iteration. Don't be afraid to play around with different settings to see what works best for your particular image. Photoshop's AI Generative Fill is a powerful tool, but it's your creativity and intuition that will truly bring your image to life. After applying the fill, you can fine-tune the results using other Photoshop tools. So, explore, experiment, and most importantly, enjoy the process. Now that you know how to use AI Generative Fill, here are some tips and tricks to help you get the most out of this feature. Firstly, remember that AI Generative Fill is a tool, and like any tool, it's only as good as the person wielding it. The key is to be patient. Sometimes you might not get the desired result in the first go. Don't fret. A little tweaking here and there can go a long way. Next, let's talk about complex images. You know, the ones with intricate details or those with multiple missing parts. Here's a pro tip. Break them down. Work on smaller sections at a time. This helps the AI focus better, and the results are often more satisfying. Then comes the question of textures. It's often tricky to get the AI to replicate textures correctly. A way to overcome this is to sample from areas of the image that have similar textures. This will guide the AI in the right direction. What about lighting, you ask? Well, AI Generative Fill does a decent job, but sometimes you might find inconsistency in shadows or highlights. In such cases, don't be afraid to manually edit a bit. A touch of dodge and burn can work wonders here. Another important aspect is color. Make sure to check the color consistency after using AI Generative Fill. If you notice any discrepancies, the hue and saturation adjustment layer is your friend. And finally, let's address one of the biggest challenges: handling large missing parts. The key here is to use the AI Generative Fill in conjunction with other tools like Clone Stamp or Patch Tool. This hybrid approach often yields the best results. But remember, practice makes perfect. Each image is unique and poses its own set of challenges. So, the more you use AI Generative Fill, the more adept you'll become at tackling these challenges. With these tips and tricks, you'll be a master of AI Generative Fill in no time. Let's recap what we've learned today. We've journeyed through the fascinating world of Photoshop's AI Generative Fill, a tool that's revolutionizing photo editing as we know it. It's a feature that combines artificial intelligence with creative artistry, and it's a game changer for Photoshop users. AI Generative Fill is a tool that lets you fill in missing or unwanted parts of your image with new content generated by artificial intelligence. It's like having a digital artist at your beck and call, ready to paint in the details you need. It's a handy tool, especially when you're dealing with tricky edits. We've walked through the process of how to use it, starting from selecting the area you want to fill, to the moment you hit that generate button and behold the magic happen. Remember to keep your selections as precise as possible and let Photoshop's AI take care of the rest. We've also shared some tips and tricks to help you get the most out of this feature. Modifying the output settings can help you achieve a more desirable result. The color adaptation setting, for instance, helps the filled content blend seamlessly with the surrounding pixels. And don't forget, if you're not satisfied with the first result, you can always regenerate until you get the perfect fill. The benefits of using AI Generative Fill are undeniable. It saves time, it enhances your creativity, and it opens up new possibilities for your edits. Whether you're removing an unwanted object, filling in a missing piece, or simply experimenting with new ideas, AI Generative Fill is a tool that can help you achieve your creative vision. So, what are you waiting for? It's time to take your Photoshop edits to the next level. As you continue to experiment with AI Generative Fill, remember that each attempt is a learning opportunity. It's all about trial and error, and most importantly, having fun in the process. Remember, practice makes perfect. So get out there, start experimenting with AI Generative Fill, and unlock a new level of creativity in your Photoshop edits.